Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop, who got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. And let's do it, Ron. Let's hit me up.
I see you were filming this. You've got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Hello and welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast. This show is brought to you by A1 Fight Gear. And A1 Fight Gear uses the latest in cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. So local and national gyms in the UK, do yourselves a favour, check out a1fightgear.co.uk. We're also sponsored by Beast Gear. If you're wanting to get into shape or get back into shape or I don't know, trim the fat off, so to speak, and go to beastgear.co.uk and use the coupon code MartialArtsChat and you can save 15% off your purchases there. They've got core sliders, straps and barbell pads. They've got all sorts of strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs. So whether you're into martial arts, into MMA, or like I said, just want to do the right thing and get ready for summer body, I guess, go to beastgear.co.uk. Martial Arts Chat is the coupon code and you can save 15% off your purchases there. So to our guest today, it's an honour to have him on the show. He's 8 times Muay Thai World Champion, former WKA North American Champion, WBC Muaythai International Champion, and IMTO World Super Welterweight Champion, Chike Lindsay. Chike, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
It's delighted to have you on, mate. And when your people got in touch online, I've got to confess, mate, I thought it was a troll. You know how it is, like, this podcast tomorrow, man, I get, like, emails who, this might be John Wayne Parr, and before you know it, it's, like, someone asking for, you know, my credit card number or whatever, and, yeah, so it's good.
Social security number.
Yeah, exactly. Delighted I'm actually getting the real deal here. So before we sort of get into the story of yourself and your career, I was wondering, Chike, if you could talk to me and the listeners about your instructional videos. You know, you've got the website there. I'll put it in the description of this show, but it's askchike.com for those listening. But yeah, you've got I guess a whole database of e-learning. Actually, I won't butcher the promo. I'm doing this an injustice. Chike, I'll give you the floor. The floor is yours, so tell the listeners about askchike.com.
But yeah, so it's a instructional Muay Thai site. It's kind of this little experiment with me, right? Because I remember when I first started teaching Muay Thai, one of my major criticisms that my instructor gave me were like, "Hey, you don't need to show these guys so much. You can save something for the privates." And
giving away too much, right?
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of weird, but I held back a little bit for a while, and then I said, you know what, let me go ahead and show them something really, really good. And every time I did that, when I came back later, like a week later, nobody was shadowboxing it. Nobody remembered it. And it's like, you know what, I don't actually need to like hold back and not show people all this stuff because. Right. If they're not serious about it, they're not gonna learn it anyway. So that was kind of my idea with this. I was like, you know, I see a lot of people show instructionals online. It's really basic stuff, and they don't go in depth on the strategy, the timing, and the technique, and the application of it. And I said, you know what? I'll just do the same thing here on a bigger scale. I'll actually show the minutia, like those details that you usually don't get, and who cares? Because only the people that really want to learn it anyway are the ones that are gonna actually practice it and put forth the effort to really internalize it. You know what I mean? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, I guess that it's it's the people who have signed up are really going to commit, and it's nice to kind of give them access. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying about instructional videos. So many. I mean, you know what it's like now. You go on YouTube and it's like. Everything's fundamentals, and then that's as far as they're willing to take you with any martial art. It seems to me, like whether it's
well, you know, it's funny. I don't see it with any martial art. Like if you look at jiu-jitsu, you'll see some pretty detailed, like cool stuff, some higher level stuff from some guys sometimes.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. But then there's always the if you want to know more about this, then sign up to the But I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, there is more in depth in something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I suppose you're right there. But in terms of maybe it's a striking thing, or maybe it's just what I've noticed. But boxing, certainly, this is a jab, this is a hook. You know what I mean? And it's like they don't really want to. They don't want to open Pandora's box too much to you. They don't want to draw back the curtain. It seems to me.
Exactly. It's like how many times do I have to see how to throw a right roundhouse in Muay Thai?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
All anybody wants to see.
It's the sound. Maybe they just live for the noise. But that's awesome, son. It's a great idea, and like we said, especially in this sort of modern age we live in, anyone that has access online can sort of access it. So, that's awesome stuff. We'll talk a wee bit more about it later on. But let's get to the story of yourself, sir. Before we descend on your Muay Thai career. Am I understanding right? You sort of dabbled in different martial arts. There was kung fu and judo at a sort of early age. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So, my first martial art was kung fu. And this was before MMA or anything like that.
Right.
So everybody's idea of doing martial art at that time was, I'll do a little bit of this, and then I'll do a little bit of this, and I'll make my own kind of style.
Yeah.
So that was my idea, and started off with kung fu, and then moved on to like some Korean styles. Messed around with a little bit of Aikido, and Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, and that kind of stuff.
And so, what age are you when this is all taking place? Is this like elementary school age, or what are we talking here?
Yeah, so kung fu was elementary school age. I think I was around 10 or so,
right,
when I started that. And then I did my Korean style. It's kind of like Taekwondo, around like middle school and high school age.
Mm-hmm. And how did you enjoy all those experiences? I mean, like, is it something it's very different from obviously what you went on to do, but is it something that you would, is there anything you've taken from those early experiences that you sort of took to the Muay Thai world in your later life?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time doing all that stuff. It actually led kind of really directly towards Muay Thai. Honestly, the way that I got into Muay Thai in the first place was, in every school, even though a style is a certain style and that it's got characteristics that frame it, every school has their own kind of footprint, right? Every school moves a little bit differently from every other school, and
yes.
It's partly to do with the instructors, but also partly to do with your lineage, like the guys that were there before you, and them training with each other and kind of forming this own kind of like style and set of preferences based on that, and then that just being handed down from generation to generation. Yeah. So my Korean style, it's called Jido Kwan. It's a really obscure style. That's why I just keep on calling it my Korean style.
Jido Kwan. Am I saying that right? Jido Kwan?
Yes, Jido Kwan. But in that school, there was several generations before me, somebody who did Muay Thai. So the way they moved was kind of this halfway Muay Thai, halfway Taekwondo kind of thing. And so when people on the outside saw me practicing, they wouldn't know for sure what it was. And a lot of people would kind of assume that it was Muay Thai. So when I was in college and I was doing some bag work by myself, this girl asked me, if I did Muay Thai, if that's what I was practicing.
Right.
And it was funny, right? Because she was really good looking, and good looking girls usually they don't really care that much about martial arts. They care about other stuff. You
got it, yeah.
So I was there, and she started talking to me, and I said, "Wow, this is finally paying off. I'm actually getting a girl."
Yeah.
And then she says, "Well, my boyfriend teaches Muay Thai."
Oh, God.
And I almost didn't listen to anything else she said after
that. Yeah, the shutters went down straight back to the bad work and just hit it a little bit harder once the boyfriend was revealed. It's interesting you're talking about a sort of a transition from, because I'm trying to picture it then. So I started at Taekwondo when I was 10, and I did it for 7 years, and then I remember, so that's 17, and it wasn't until my sort of mid to late 20s that I sort of dabbled a little bit in Muay Thai. Nothing too serious, it was mostly for fitness if I'm honest, but like straight away And I remember the instructor were like, why are you putting your hands down to your hip, after you strike and stuff? Why are you dropping your hands so much? Don't be side on, be square on. It was almost like I had it in my head that when I first started Muay Thai, that it would come naturally to me because I had years of Taekwondo under my belt. And I quickly realised that that was not. It was almost like it was two different worlds. But you found it quite an easy sort of blend and that kind of thing, right?
I did. Well, because I had done other stuff before, right? So Kung Fu, Wushu Kung Fu to Taekwondo, it's completely different.
Sure.
There's nothing similar, right? So what I learned really early on in that first transition was the only way I could really get good is if I empty myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't try to say, how do I adapt my Kung Fu to Taekwondo? I completely let go of that and practice it separately on its own, so that later on, once I get a solid enough understanding of both, then I can do what I want to do to mix it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that was the same mentality I adopted with Muay Thai. When I started doing Muay Thai, I said, okay, everything that I knew before, I'm going to let that go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to really do a deep dive into how things are done here.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get a better understanding, then I can see how I can mix the stuff that I know how to do from my previous martial arts.
Yeah, and that's the art part of it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's probably the best way to sort of approach it, I would say. Take yourself, if you're going to a new discipline, you're going to be a white belt, you know what I mean? So you need to be, that's a good way of, just clearing everything out. Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
And we even, symbolically would do that too. Like I have another friend that we grew up training the Judo Kwan with. And, we would dabble in other martial arts from time to time. And our whole thing was like, no matter what, no matter how good we think we are, when we go to another martial art, we always put on the white belt again.
Yeah,
because it's not the same thing. Yes. And it's a symbolic way of saying, I'm emptying myself right now to learn this completely new thing.
Yeah.
I'm not coming in with kind of ego or some preconceived notions of what I can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I've done something else before.
Psychologically, it would probably help yourself, but it would project to everyone else that, we're there's no ego. That's a good way of putting it, mate. Yeah, there's no ego with this. But just to move on to sort of, obviously years later, you turned pro, and it seems like Las Vegas and California were the places to be in terms of pursuing a Muay Thai career, I'll say that, in America. Now, we were speaking prior to the show, you were actually born in London, which I didn't realise. I always thought you were born and bred in Georgia. But very early doors, though, you were telling me it was the move to Georgia. So if we can say sort of moving from East Coast to West, from Georgia to places like California and Vegas, was it trips back and forth? Was there any kind of, I don't know, from speaking as a guy from the UK, is there a culture shock there at all? Or is it just, these things don't come into your thoughts?
No, well, yeah. I mean, they don't really come into my thoughts too much. Anytime I traveled for a fight, it was just a job.
Yes.
So there wasn't too much culture, right? Besides what's inside the gym.
I suppose.
And gyms all across America are very, very similar.
Well, let's talk about the first time I saw you compete in that. Like I said, we were speaking a bit about prior to the show. It was Eurosport here in the UK. The politest way I could put it was it would show obscure sports that you wouldn't normally see, like traditional sports like football or cricket and stuff that really does my nut in, I'll be honest. But anyway, I digress. But we would get to see fights. That was the main thing. I got to see combat sports, which I absolutely loved. And I even when I was younger, like my dad would sort of keep me up late. With a wink to my mother. Oh, he's just watching the fights with his dad. So it was always a soft spot for me whenever Eurosport were showing like late night fights, and this is where I came across your fight. I believe it was with Kevin Ross. I want to say somewhere in the region of 2009.
Yeah,
would that be about right? Yeah, I'm trying to do the timeline in my head. So that was for a title, if I remember right, and it was in Vegas. What's your recollections of that night? Because that was a good back and forth. It was the first time I'd saw you, and it stuck in my head that, or maybe it was the commentators probably pointing out to me, Chike, that you were a guy known for having good hands, good boxing skills. That was the sort of the way I remember it going down. But what was your thoughts? What was your recollections of that night? I guess it would have been in Vegas.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Kevin's a great guy, and he's a great fighter. Not to take anything away from him, that was a really hard weight cut though.
Right.
That was the last time I fought at 147, and Not even after the fight. After the weight cut, I said, I'm never doing 147.
That was it. That was the final straw. Yeah.
While I was rehydrating, I said, "That's."
Oh
Yeah.
God, it's really right. Okay, that's when you know.
But but I think my biggest memory about that fight was I knew I was down on the scorecard. Going into the 5th round, and at that point I said, okay, the only way that I can win this one is if I finish him, or at least if I drop him, maybe I can get a draw. And I remember he kept on catching my push kick. Anytime I threw the front leg teep, he would drop both hands to catch, and he wouldn't do it one or the other. You know, I'd like to, when I catch the teep, I'd like to use my front hand first, and keep the back hand up, and then clamp on top, and he would put both hands down. So in the last round, I skipped forward and faked the teep and shot the right elbow and caught him right between the nose. And I hit him with that, dropped him, and I said, okay, maybe I'll finish him. If not, I at least have the knockdown. So maybe, you know, things are a little bit better now. And the ref said no knockdown.
He ruled it as that's right. He ruled it as a push, or is it what was his judgment on it?
I think he ruled it as like a slip. I don't think anybody really saw the elbow because the crowd didn't react either.
Right.
I was expecting everybody to go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Nobody reacted, so I guess nobody saw it. But yeah, right after that, he had this, the cut over the bridge of his nose. Honestly, if it wasn't for the cut in between his nose, or right between his eyes and the bridge of the nose, I would think that I imagined the whole thing. I think even my corner didn't even realize that I cut him.
You start questioning yourself, like, I'm sure I caught him. I'm almost, but he fell, so I caught him. That's crazy. Yeah, I do remember that.
He recovered very, very quickly, though.
Yeah.
To his credit, that could have been something that helped me. Because I could have dropped him, he could have got up, and nobody knew it was a knockdown. He could have been wobbly, and then I could have finished him off.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got up, I looked in his eyes, and his eyes looked clear already. I said, oh, well. Hopefully I can catch him again, but,
a quick recovery for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can't on him now.
Kevin Ross, as we know, he would go on to have a distinguished career, and obviously you do as well, sir. But it was after this fight that we saw you, I believe, would that be around the timeline for when you entered the MMA? Would that be about right? Just shortly after the Kevin Ross fight?
Maybe. Yeah, I think it was around that time.
What's your mindset going into mixed martial arts? Is it something you want to pursue, or was it off the back of any particular fight, or what made you want to dabble in that kind of world?
Okay, so actually my first MMA fight, it was really just because I couldn't get any other Muay Thai fights. I was having a little bit of a hard time getting Muay Thai fights at that time.
Getting matched, right? Okay.
Yeah, and my very first Muay Thai or MMA fight was a ridiculous situation.
Go on.
So this was back when I was partnered with my trainer with this gym, and he started dabbling in promotion as well. So he had a fight scheduled for later on that week. And I think this was on like a Tuesday, and somebody pulled out of like one of their big MMA fights, like maybe the co-main event of the night. One of the fighters pulled out at 155, and he's talking about, this person pulled out, and then somebody jokingly says, "Hey, Chike, you should do it." and then his eyes just light up and he gets serious. He's like, yes, you should do this.
No, you can't half-ass this. No.
I had trained any jiu-jitsu. I had done nothing specific for MMA whatsoever.
Oh my god!
And I was like, you guys are nuts. Are you serious right now? And I'm not a huge fan of not taking fights. I usually when I'm presented a fight, I just go ahead and do it.
What's that? Is that a pride thing? Sorry to interrupt you, but is that the reason why you're saying you don't want to turn down fights? Is it just the warrior spirit, or what?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is kind of a pride thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I took the fight anyway, and I knew for a fact, like, this is going to be like UFC 1, right? Either I'm going to knock this guy out, or I'm going to get submitted.
Yeah. I said the clash of styles. Yeah, it's the striker versus grappler. But Bill does that. Yeah.
That's literally exactly what it was.
But you had more than one fight, though, right? Did you not have 2 or 3 MMA fights, I want to say?
I had 2.
You too?
So, and they both went exactly the way you'd expect in a striker versus grappler.
Oh, my God.
Match, right?
Right, okay.
The first one, I won in 30 seconds with a leg kick.
he had no idea how to check a kick, right? Okay.
Exactly. And then the second one, I lost in like a minute something with submission, right? So.
Right, okay. And were they in a short sort of time frame between each other? Was that the same year? 2010, I guess that's what we mean, right? 2010.
I don't know if it was a short time frame. I don't think it was the same year. I think it was maybe the following year.
But the second fight, was that a pullout as well? Surely not. Don't tell me they talked you into it twice.
Yeah. But that wasn't short notice, though. That was a little bit longer notice.
Okay. I see. Tremendous. Fair.
So the other one, that one was a little bit silly too in the way things happened versus the preparation. Because what I figured was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get enough time to really be good with the groundwork. So I just need to make sure that I'm extremely difficult to take down.
Smart.
From inside a clinch situation, I can really hurt you with the knees and make you not want to be there.
Yes.
Right? You can't stay and kind of wrestle me against the ropes or the cage.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did no jiu-jitsu work whatsoever. I did nothing but wrestling. We had this fantastic wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
I did nothing but wrestling and Muay Thai. And as soon as the fight starts, the guy bum rushes me to clinch me up, which is exactly what we trained for.
Mm-hmm.
I hit him with a hard knee, and he doesn't like it. And I'm thinking he's gonna just struggle for the single leg, and he pulls guard. And
oh no!
And I can't remember the last time I've seen anybody pull guard in an MMA fight.
Yeah.
I just never even considered that as a possibility.
Yeah, and the no-gi, yeah, it's a rare occasion, but yeah. So what's going through your mind? Is it just, oh shit, at that point?
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
When he pulled guard, it also like kind of turned at this weird angle, so he was halfway to the omoplata.
Oh no!
And I just didn't have a whole lot of time to react.
No, but I guess that's the smart game plan. You probably did the right thing. You've got whatever your time frame's looking at, how much you're really going to learn on the ground. So yeah, even wrestling. I thought you were going to say to me, Chike, that you were just going to be working on the clinch work, make your tighten up your clinch game. Not that it would need to tighten up anymore, but enough to just thwart any potential grapplers away. So you probably, in hindsight, I guess you would have really did the right thing. But after that, was it like, yeah, I'm done with this MMA, no more of this, thanks very much? Or
well, after that, I was starting to get more opportunities in Muay Thai again. Okay. Again, the only reason that I did the MMA thing in the first place
the
was
lack
just
of matchup, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, 2011 comes around and we see you back in the Muay Thai world, like you said, and shortly thereafter, you're making journeys out to Bangkok and China, and I mean, those experiences must be tremendous. Did you enjoy things out in Thailand? Did you get to see some of, like, do you have any memories from China when you were there besides the fighting, or was it in and out camp?
Oh no, yeah. I mean, every time I've ever traveled for fights, it's always just been purely work. I've never got a chance to enjoy anything. When I think of Thailand now, it's funny, right? Because I had a girlfriend that was really wanted to go to Thailand super bad, and all I could keep on thinking is, why would you ever want to go to Thailand? It's just work. It's just hard work.
Of course, because from your world, yes, exactly, right.
So, from my perspective, I think of Thailand, all I think of is blisters on my feet from running, and just 8 hours of training a day. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't we go to a beach? It was only recently this year that people reminded me, like, they have really nice beaches in Thailand.
But all you can think about is like 100 kicks and then 100 burpees, and just sweating it out and that. And then the rainy season comes every 2 minutes, and I suppose you would be, because you're right. You're coming from a martial arts world where this originates. But when someone says Thailand to you, of course. It sounds stupid, but you're absolutely right. What else would you think but work? It'd be like so I'm a school teacher, right? I'd obviously do this point. I'm a school teacher by trade, and I've got a 3-year-old son, and my wife often says when I first started reading storybooks to him, it's like you don't need to always ask him questions about Humpty Dumpty or whatever else, because I'd never been a dad before. He's our first, and it's like I was treating everything like work. So like that became like, as if I was going to be marking his homework or whatever after this. It's like, no, not everything is a chore. Still putting him through school. He's only 3. You just kind of get into that mindset of it. But yeah, if you don't know any different, then of course, what else are you going to think? But no, not even China, nothing. It was just all there for fights and then in and out. That was it. Never got a chance to take in the culture or anything like that. No.
Yeah, no, not really. Just because I mean, you're there and you're doing all your press stuff for a week too.
Sure. Yeah.
And then all your training to acclimate to the new time zone and new environment. So,
God, of course, yeah, and I didn't even keep in my thoughts. Well, the next few years sort of roll on. You're stringing together a number of victories, and we get to the tournament in Thailand at the end of 2013. I remember seeing that one. I believe it was on Axis, the quarterfinals fight, and then of course you had the fight against the excuse me, you had the fight against the living legend, Yosin Klai. How did you enjoy that bout with the Vertex fighter? How did you? That one I believe was in Vegas. How did you enjoy that whole experience, mate?
Yeah, that was a good experience. It was a little bit frustrating that, and I understand, Yosin Klai is a very huge star, but it's still, being the American fighter in an American promotion, it was a little bit frustrating seeing the promotion so heavily lean towards one of us or the other one.
Do you feel like a betrayal almost, or
kind of, right? I mean, even the poster, right? The poster, I was the background image.
Right, yeah, okay, pretty blatant then, right?
You couldn't at least put it side by side, like I have to be the background image.
Yeah, that's a shitty move. But I mean, with good reason though. I mean, with respect to yourself, but this is a guy. I mean, what is it, like 200 fights or whatever by that point?
No. It's true, right? So, I mean, I can see it both ways, but at the same time, I really do think that's one of the things that hurts Muay Thai in America in the first place. I mean, when you see all the sports that really get a lot of attention, it's the stuff where people are celebrating the American athlete.
Sure, yeah, or I would say maybe even just a contendership or a battle between two people, rather than this is the star, insert name here, which is what you're kind of describing from this poster. But you're absolutely right, especially if it's a hometown thing. Yeah, of course, for sure. Why wouldn't you feel annoyed?
I can't remember the Australian guy who fought Pacquiao in that last fight. Remember the guy's name?
Oh man, you're putting me in the spot now. You keep talking, Chike, and I'll Google it, and then in between that time I'll edit the podcast to make it look as if I was on the ball. Right? I'm just being honest. Yeah, okay, go for it.
But yeah, I mean, even in that fight, I mean, he didn't have, even though he did end up winning a very controversial decision, let's face it, he didn't have the hugest chance.
No.
But everyone was behind him.
And that's the sort of the underdog thing as well, though, right? It's like, people love to back an underdog, whether they've heard of them or not, though, right?
They'll back an underdog if it's their own countryman.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean, that was a home. Typically, right? And that was a hometown fight, and that's exactly what I would expect to happen. And that happens a lot. A lot of times when people will get in a situation where, like, if you were in Uruguay, and there was a soccer match between Uruguay and Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Uruguay's not going to beat Brazil,
sure,
right? But what's the crowd going to be rooting for, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. You're spot on it.
I mean, I just think it's a little bit silly. It's not give people the option to root for their hometown person, right? To try to sway everybody with the promotion into one way or another.
And what I find, actually, you bring up a good point, because what I remember also watching that fight back, there's a big vocal support in the crowd, for the Fairtex fighter in this one, and I'm like, but this is in the casino in Vegas. Surely, you know what I mean? Like the hometown advantage. Are they shipping these people in for? Like there's a lot of chance for him, and I'm thinking, no, maybe it should be the other way about. But then I you never know unless I was there, which I wasn't. I was just obviously watching the fight. But just in terms of your performance, I mean, I think you performed really well in that first round, and you showed a lot of heart. Not a lot of people gave you a chance to get it to the fifth round. You were cut badly. But you're once again, like from the first time I saw you, it was your hands. Your hands were causing him some real problems, and you cracked him a lot in that fight, and yet he just still seemed to keep coming forward. Is that as discouraging as it gets? I mean, you're landing clean shots, you're bloodied up, you're doing all the technical things right, and this man's just not letting up.
Well, so that fight really, it kind of getting away from me was really just a failure of strategy. So what I forgot, I don't know why I forgot this while I was training for the fight, but in Thailand, you typically have fighters come from these other regions, not from Bangkok. They usually come from somewhere else, right, where they have this style that is predominantly one thing, and then as they become good, they get transferred over to some gym in Bangkok where they become more rounded, and then they kind of learn everything. Mm-hmm. But everybody always reverts to their lowest level of training. That's the number one rule of combat sports. You hurt somebody, they're going to go back to what they first started with, where they're the most strong, where their base is.
Yes.
Muaythai was a clinch fighter. Before he went to Bangkok, and before he developed his power and his punches and his timing with all that other stuff, all the stuff on the outside, he was a clinch fighter. So it made sense, and that's why his style is so much a very come forward kind of style. Mm-hmm. Because if you decide to stand your ground with him, then you'll invariably end up in the clinch, and then that's where he's more strong, right? Yeah. And then if you try and avoid the clinch because you feel like you're not getting the better of those exchanges, then you find yourself in a situation where you're backing up against him all the time. Yeah. Which gives him opportunity to showcase his stuff from the outside.
Yes.
So what I should have focused more on, because he's got patterns in the clinch that he likes to fall into. I should have practiced more on working on those specific patterns within the clinch. But I spent all my time focusing on the outside stuff. So when I gave him problems on the outside in the first round, then he switched gears and decided to make the entire fight inside clinch range. Mm-hmm. That's really where that shift kind of happened.
But I shifted otherwise, though. You were for someone who was bloodied up. I mean, you certainly won a lot of fans over it. I had friends of mine watching that who don't really have a vaguest idea what Muay Thai is, but they know someone who displays heart when they see it, kind of thing. And man, you won for what it's worth. You won a lot of Scottish fans that night, mate. We love a guy who just kind of. I wouldn't say you were Hail Marying it. I was about to say that for that last round. That wasn't because you caught. I want to say there was a good one or two times where you caught him flush with it. It was like you were doubling up on that jab, and then that right would come, and you were always circling away from because he's a southpaw, right? So you were circling away from that big left body kick, and you seem to be doing all the right things. In a losing effort, I'd say you won a lot of fans. So kudos to you, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Job well done. But that's where things sort of in the Muay Thai world they come to an end, right? Is that a tough decision for you, mate? Calling it a day and all that kind of stuff.
Well, really, as far as kind of a continuing Muay Thai career goes, the thing I came to the realization of is really this huge disadvantage being where I am. I live in Georgia. Muay Thai is not big. It was very, very hard for me to get high caliber training partners to even prepare for my fights. And it's just everyone that I fight against with their level of training, it's just so much easier to keep at a certain level. That it just feels like this huge disadvantage. And I felt like really I had two options, which is either just move somewhere else or transition away from it.
That's tough.
It's tough, And the sad reality is, Muay Thai just doesn't pay that much, Mm-hmm. It's not like boxing where I can say, hey, if I move away, then who knows, maybe I'll get, $1 million fights and it could be a kind of Cinderella change your life moment, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's the sad reality of it. We were just talking about yours and Clyde there. I mean, Fairtex, all these guys take their names from the gym. It's their livelihood. For those listening that don't know, it's like Muay Thai. Especially in Thailand, it's a different game over there. A lot of it's not for monetary gain, folks. So kind of like what Chike's saying here, despite the fact he had a very distinguished career, how much do you want to keep? Do you want to keep taking punishment for, let's be honest, something that's not financially viable, right?
Yeah. And, it's a little bit different in Thailand as far as the money goes as well. Because remember, a fighter is at his peak when he's, 16, 17?
Yes, yeah, they're early. They start, man, you want to talk about elementary school, man, they've got them there since doing hill sprints and all the rest of it from an early age. It's a livelihood. It really is. It's a family kind of, orientated thing, and different way of life, completely different way of life. What do you make of sort of, kind of kickboxing, that it's trying to, pull things in the mainstream? We see Bellator kickboxing now, and Glory, and they're trying to do showcase fights. And do you see that as a sort of platform for future, Muay Thai guys your side of the pond in the States and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think they put on good shows. And I think they're very exciting to watch. I'd love to see them get more and more popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's something that the average person can really appreciate. You don't actually need to know the intricacies of Muay Thai to be excited by it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
You watch something else like jiu-jitsu or wrestling. I mean, you don't really get it unless you do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there's too much going on. It's kind of like, so my friends I told you about who loved your fight with Yosin, they also, some of them do practice jiu-jitsu, but a couple of my buddies are just like into football and that kind of thing. And if they see a leg lock position in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which any casual person would, they'd just be like, oh, this isn't a fight. This is just two guys interlocking the legs, just sitting down staring at each other, wearing pajamas. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it wouldn't appeal to the casual. But I'm with you, mate. I hope that these like the Glory and all the rest of it, I do hope they grow, because it would attract a casual fan, and that's going to help it grow, and that's going to get it more exposure, and that can be a bad thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Chike, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to have you on, sir. Before I let you go, let ourselves and our listeners know sort of where people can hit you up online, if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, social media, that kind of thing. And also give us, the once over again for AskChike.com.
Yeah, so it's funny. I should know them off the top of my head, but I can't remember my Twitter handle and my exact Facebook.
I'll make sure they're in the description of the show for those checking it out. But yeah, go for it.
But honestly, on AskChike.com, you have the social media link, so you can get in touch with me with in any kind of way, through email, through Facebook, through Twitter, through all that. If you just go on AskChike.com, and again, AskChike.com, it's a great resource for Muay Thai. I think there's something there for everybody. But if you are willing to practice and are willing to train, I think there's a lot of hidden gems there that you can see there that are really hard to find anywhere else.
Chike, many thanks again for your time, sir, and all the very best with everything you've got going on in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. This is really fun.